Gamers, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Today, Gsxrclyde, my new Gsxrclyde Black Cherry label, 100 servings. It's never been available in 100 servings. It's out today. So head on over to Gamersupps.gg, code Clyde at checkout. Get this limited label. This will be a limited run. Once these run out, it will be a different label like the old one, but it'll still say Gsxrclyde Black Cherry. Thank you guys for all the support, buying all the Gamersupps stuff that you've done over the years for me. I appreciate it. We got a new shaker dropping on Tuesday. I'll have more info on the launch of LIGHTFALL. We're going to be celebrating shakers, giveaways, tons of stuff. So thanks again for all the support. Head on over there and get this new label, the 100 serving. It's badass. Thank you. Peace. Gamers, wanted to make this video and just simply talk about what I read in the TWAB today. This Week at Bungie article released today, and it went over some crazy changes for the artifact mods, how the perks are going to work, and they showed us how some of these perks are going to be absolutely broken in Lightfall. I'm telling you, this stuff is crazy. Void Titans, Warlocks going to be busted. You never know what we can come up with. Tons of build crafting, so I just wanted to break some stuff down, talk about some champion mods as well. So they did release Embrace the Passive Artifact today in the TWAB, and they wanted to talk about how artifact mods are going to work and now how they're going to be perks. These are going to be passive perks, and you don't have to slot them into your armor pieces. So think about it like this. You select 12 mods on the artifact, and they'll all be activated all at once. 12 perks are unlocked per character. You can reset the artifact at no cost, and the anti-champion weapons featured on the artifact can also be overcharged in higher difficulty activities, so you want to pay attention to those mods as well. I just want to go over the artifact mods and what I read in the TWAB today and kind of explain them to you. Anti-barrier sidearm, anti-barrier pulse, overload bow, unstoppable scout rifle, and automatics overload. Pretty much auto rifles and submachine guns. I don't understand why they use some of the same mods this season for next season, but hey, remember, most of these column 1 mods you don't have to equip because there's going to be additional way to stun champions, but I just wanted to go over this. Column 2, this is where it gets really juicy. Authorized mods for solar. The armor energy costs of all armor mods affecting your solar weapons are significantly discounted. This could open up so many ways to break the game with Font of Might. Any solar buff that you get is going to be cheaper, and that's pretty much what this whole column's for. Authorized mods for strand. The armor energy costs of all armor mods affecting your strand weapons are significantly discounted. So again, these are just going to be huge. The third one, authorized mods for void, and then the fourth one is just unheard of, authorized mods for grenades. The armor energy costs of all armor mods affecting your grenades are significantly discounted. This means you're going to be able to run 3 Ashes to Assets. Spamming nades on Warlock is just going to be disgusting here. Hopefully we can throw some other builds together as well, but spamming nades on a Warlock just stands out to me there. And then you have multi-siphon mods, grants access to armor mods in your helmet that combine the effects of strand siphon mod with the solar siphon mod and the void siphon mods. That's just going to be able for you to make more orbs and generate more orbs on the ground and use them for builds in the future. I don't know. It's just I just feel like a whole bunch of build crafting is going to come to mind with Lightfall. Another thing, make sure you're paying attention to mods that we're going to be doing or using in Lightfall, and definitely research a lot of builds. I'll be definitely making a lot of videos on those. Column 3, we have Shattered Orbs. The first time you break a combatant shield, you create an orb of power if you break the shield with the matching damage type. This is huge. I mean, honestly, if you're doing a lot of endgame and you're breaking shields, it could potentially make some orbs. I don't know if this is going to work per player. That could be kind of busted where you and your teammates could just break the shield of the same enemy, but it does say the first time you break it, so we'll see. Defiant Armory greatly improves the benefits provided by the intrinsic perks, Noble Deeds, Nanotech Tracer Rockets, Hex Balance Stock, and Ambush Origin traits. We sometimes use these mods so they could be really good. Untangler, destroying a tangle with a strand weapon suspends targets damaged by the explosion. I'm going to be having a lot of fun with this. Just spider webs everywhere, tangling up champions. We did see a clip of a champion getting tangled that was unstopped, so this could be fun. Solar Surge Collecting a fire sprite gives you armor charge. I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to have this mod on at all times, especially on my solar builds, because the more armor charges you have, the more damage you can do. And you could spam nades or get your super or get a damage buff. It's going to be insane. I can't believe this next one. Volatile Flow. Picking up an orb of power grants your void weapons volatile rounds. Now we know why they nerfed Gsxrclyde, because pretty much now with Volatile Flow, every time you pick up that orb of power, you're going to have volatile rounds up, and this is just going to be nuts. Column 4 and 5 are usually what makes the meta for each season. So this right here just brings a whole bunch of diversity to builds. I can't wait. Bricks from Beyond. Defeating a powerful combatant with a void weapon has a chance to generate heavy ammo for you and your teammates. This is a really good idea, but we do have Aeons, and there's not many void heavies we can use unless we're using machine guns, Two-Tailed Fox, Deathbringer. We might be able to use this mod and actually benefit heavy drops, but we all know if we want to hit finishers, we can just throw on Aeons. All right, here we go. Warlocks, this is for you. Flare Up. Firebolt grenades apply more scorch stacks. Damaging combatants with a firebolt grenade spawns a fire sprite near them. So pretty much every time you throw your firebolt nade, you're going to be able to spawn a fire sprite near them. When you pick up that fire sprite, you should get grenade energy from that. So there's a mod down in column 5 that's going to pair well with Flare Up. Moving on. Origin Hones. Weapons with the Noble Deeds, Nano Tracing Rockets, Text Balanced Stock, and Ambushed Origin traits are always overcharged when that modifier is active. So pretty much this is just going to have an origin trait on the weapon, and you're going to be able to overcharge with that weapon, which is going to be great. Allied Unraveling. Rapid final blows with a strand weapon grant your weapon unraveling rounds with a longer duration near allies. Pretty much you're going to be able to just tangle. While unraveling rounds are active, you're going to be able to tangle enemies, pretty much like a volatile rounds, or I guess you can compare it to like a volt shot as well, but that's going to be interesting. Counterweave. When you or a member of your fire team stuns or defeats a champion, you gain energy for your least charged strand ability. So spamming abilities more, this could be really busted, but again, you're only stunning a champion a few times, but depending on how much energy we get, it could be a good perk. Column 5 is the last column. Stranded Reach. Destroying a tangled with a strand weapon creates a larger and more damaging explosion. So pretty much stranded weapons are going to get something like Firefly or Dragonfly. That could be a fun perk. Rain of Firebolts. Here is that mod that's going to stack with Flared Up. Hopefully, when you have a Firebolt grenade equipped, you gain a second grenade charge. So pretty much if you combine these two solar mods, it's something like Touch of Flame back in D1 that the Warlocks had. Just imagine if you can pair these two mods with certain exotics that the Warlock has, or even on other classes. Firebolt nades do need to do a little bit more damage, but if they could spread a lot of Scorch, we could see some crazy builds. Moving on to Void Weapon Channeling. You gain a temporary bonus to Void Weapon damage after you defeat a target with a Void weapon while at least one of your void abilities is fully charged. This damage bonus increases based on the number of fully charged void abilities you have. So pretty much you just make sure you have all 3 void abilities up. You get a temporary damage to your void damage weapons if you defeat a combatant with a void weapon. So maybe leave an ad alive, kill it with a void ability, set up for DPS. Hopefully a mod like this is probably not going to stack with the other mods, meaning like Font of Might and Well of Radiance, but we'll see. We've seen Bungie add cool stuff like this in the game, but it doesn't stack. So pretty much we just have to do a lot of testing. Medieval Champion, think of it like this: glaives and swords. So glaives are going to stun unstoppable champions, and it's going to give glaives are always overcharged when that modifier is active. Landing consecutive hits with a sword disrupts combatants, stunning them, so delaying overload champions with swords. Additionally, swords are always overcharged when that modifier is active. So hey, we could see void swords come back. Putting on old fallen guillotine, throwing on medieval champion and void weapon channeling could be busted. Here is the Gsxrclyde mod. Prismatic Transfer. When you cast your super, each member of your fire team with a subclass damage type different than yours gains a bonus to weapon damage. So pretty much if you're in the new raid, Warlock pops super, no one else is on solar, everyone gets buffed. Or you can have your hunter do this. Hunter throws a tether on the boss, everyone else is not on a void subclass, so not only is the hunter setting the debuff, but is setting a buff as well. Again, this mod needs to be tested to see what it stacks with. Last thing I wanted to talk about was how champions are going to be stunned in Lightfall. Just wanted to go over this very quickly. Barrier champions can be stunned by radiant, volatile rounds, and unraveling rounds. Overload champions can get stunned by jolt, suppression, and slow. Unstop champions ignite, blind, shatter, and suspend. So just wanted to give you an example. If you are radiant because a solar hunter used an acrobatic dodge near you, you will shoot anti-barrier rounds until radiant wears off. If you use a weapon with chill clip perk, the slow effect upon direct hit will stun an overload champion, and the shatter upon a second hit will stun the unstops. While radiant though, the same weapon would pierce a barrier champion but not stun overloads. So it's like they almost can all work together. So paying attention to what barrier, overload, and unstops can get stunned by is definitely going to be huge for the season. Wanted to give you another example. Since Gsxrclyde does have the slowness, it can stun an overload champion, but it will not be able to stun a barrier if the player is radiant, because Gsxrclyde already has that built in, if it makes sense. There's an exception for the weapons able to scorch, since ignitions require buildup in order to stun as well. So again, Bungie just gave us some examples. Just remember, if a weapon has an intrinsic perk like Ariana's Vow, Divinity, Leviathan's Breath, kind of hard to use them with the others. So I can't wait to just be able to throw on a fusion rifle and throw my bonk hammer and be radiant and crack that anti-barrier. Also, you're going to freeze them. So just remember, champions are going to get easy to stun and kill, and we're going to have so much fun. I just wanted to go over some of these changes and go over some of the artifact mods. I can't wait to play Lightfall. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.